Hello. Welcome to the live demo of ASK BOSCO. My name's Phil, and yeah, I'm really excited to be showing you around the platform today. If you have any questions through the process, just put them in the live chat and I'll try and answer those at the end. So before I get into the demo, I just wanted to set the scene and kind of tell you why we built ASK BOSCO and how we're helping our customers. So bear with me, I've got a couple of slides just to work through before I jump into that platform demo. So um, we are ASK BOSCO, and the reason we built the platform is to help brands, retailers, and agencies understand where to invest your next pound of digital marketing budget. But it would be remiss of me not to mention the bigger picture. We, through profit share and through charitable donations, raise funds for One More Child, charity that supports 280 orphans in Jinja, Uganda. And the man who runs that is called Bosco. So if you ever have any trouble, any questions, any problems, you go to Ask Bosco and or you go to Bosco and he's got all the answers. So that's a really core part of our business and something that we're really proud of. But as I said, we've built Ask Bosco to help you understand where to invest your next pound of digital marketing budget. But that's a really complex problem, and one that's hard to answer. And it's also one that's kind of exacerbated by the world that we're living in at the moment. Marketing teams are dealing with too much data. It's coming from multiple platforms, and they're all telling different stories about performance. There's often a lack of trust in this data. Is it completely accurate? Are there inconsistencies in the processing of that data? And then if you throw in the fact that marketers are having to grapple with other pressures, like delivering the best returns they can when they've got kind of the upward pressure from ad costs going up. And all of this makes it really difficult, right? It makes it difficult for marketers to forecast accurately, but it also makes it difficult for them to make decisions about how to optimize performance and how to deliver results for your business and for your clients if you're an agency. So with that in mind, we have built Ask Bosco. And there are four main pillars that Ask Bosco has to help solve these challenges. Firstly, we connect all of your data. So we have over 400 ready to go data connectors that are easy to integrate. We then make it easy for you to understand and analyze performance of your data, or analyze performance through our AI reporting. We then can give you a sense of what's happening in the wider market through our competitive benchmarking. And then finally, we use all of that data to create forecasts and budget plans that execute on your goals and the strategies that you have in place. So that's Ask Bosco. I'm going to jump into the platform now. And hopefully you can all see this. Okay, so this isn't the platform. This is just our kind of homepage where we talk about our integrations. So the first kind of key part of the platform is that we have over 400 connectors ready to build out and ready to go, and they're built out in a no-code way so that you can quickly and easily pull all of your data into one place, tidy it, align it, and make it easier to understand. And we do that across all the major ad platforms, CRM, and marketing tools, as you can see here. So I'd be surprised if there are any that we don't have. We also have e-com platforms too. So you can see we've got Shopify, Remarkable. So you can also pull in your e-com data and connect that up with your marketing data. So that's the integrations side of Ask Bosco. And then if I just come into the platform itself, here is the summary page where we can just, at a very high level, show you a summary of your performance over the last year in terms of cost and revenue, but also over the last 7 days, this is a view of channel performance. But as I touched upon, there are 3 main parts of the platform. So there's reporting, there's competitive benchmarking, and then there's budget planning and forecasting, which you can see here. So let me jump into reporting. So our vision for reporting is that we want it to be as intuitive as any app. So we want to kind of lower the technical barrier to entry. Um, and we really want to allow non-technical users to self-serve and get answers about performance, maybe rather than having experts who own reporting. Often there'll be someone who owns Looker Studio and has lots of expertise and know Looker inside out, but they're kind of almost a single point of failure or a bottleneck within a business. So the way we do self-service is through search and through natural language, just like you would do in daily life. And I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. But what we have here within our reporting suite is 72 best practice kind of marketing reports that you get out of the box. So these have been built by our team. We have an expert team, all with agency and digital marketing background. So they kind of understand exactly what you need as a digital marketer to understand performance across all of your channels. And as you can see, we can give you reports from a high-level website view all the way down to a channel-specific view and right down to campaign-level performance. So let me jump into one now. If we take this website performance report. So hopefully you can see this okay. So it very much looks and feels like traditional BI, and it does everything that you would expect within that. But rather than this being the end point, it's very much kind of the starting point for us to be able to interrogate and analyze our data. So you can see here that we have all of our KPIs tracked here and visualized within the graphs. We have a more granular breakdown of the data here, and you can easily rearrange the columns to get it into a format you want. And these are visualized again below here. You can also apply filters, so you can change your date ranges, and you can also select your conversion source here. So you can have a look at, right, do I want to have a look at it through the lens of GA4, through ad platform, or you can even load up custom attribution models so that you can look at your data through that lens. What you can also do, if we take this chart as an example, is you can drill down into the data further, and you can really kind of follow your nose and ask any questions that you have, or any questions that you can think of without having to engage a data scientists. And you have kind of complete flexibility to explore the data. So if I drill down here, I can go, right, let's go by channel source, help me understand exactly what's occurred here. And what you can see is that you can very quickly go from high level to granular targeted data that's relevant to you. And I think the power of this comes in being able to kind of iterate and ask the second and third questions rather than just being stuck on a static dashboard. And also with these KPI charts, curious users will kind of look at this and want to understand why something has happened. It's natural that when people look at data and performance charts that they'll want to ask questions. And often at the moment, they'll have to go back to a data analyst or a central data function and ask that question. But with ASK BOSCO, you've kind of got limitless curiosity. So as an example, if we take this spike in revenue here, I want to understand why that's occurred. So if I right click, I can run a change analysis. And what you will see, moment, is that we get a summary of exactly what's driven that spike in revenue. So we're looking at, okay, the values email, SEO, and referral have driven most change among all of the values. Now, it won't always be one reason, but what we're trying to do here is make it easier to surface why an event has occurred. The other thing that you're able to do is quickly and easily summarize kind of the highlights or changes that have occurred on a page. So if you click this AI highlights button, ASK BOSCO will go away and will produce highlights that you can see here, where we summarize kind of significant changes that have occurred over the given time period that you've selected within the dashboard. So as a marketer or someone who's producing reports for your clients, you can quickly get a snapshot of what's happened so that you can report back to your team. And as we move through the reports, you can see that we've built a number of kind of reports that may be interesting to marketers based on our expertise. So this is a summary of channel by type. We have marketing spend or spending pacing. You can see here. I'll just let that load up. So here you can see the pacing report. We can do things like give you a view of discrepancies between ad platform and Google Analytics, which is often a hot topic for people trying to understand, okay, where is the sales bit, where the sales being attributed, and why is there such a big discrepancy between what GA4 is reporting, ad platforms reporting, and what's actually in my pocket. So hopefully this gives you a good sense of what you can see within ASK BOSCO. This is just one of the reports, but as you saw earlier, we have about 72 out of the box. The other key part of ASK BOSCO is that all of this is fully customizable. So whether you're a brand that needs to pull together a specific report for your weekly trade meeting on a Monday and then a different one for the board on a Friday, or maybe you're an agency that has clients with specific metrics and specific KPIs that they want reporting on, you can fully customize what you show within ASK BOSCO. So what you can do is you can start building out your own dashboard by selecting your KPIs and pinning that to a dashboard. So let's create one specifically for this webinar. And you can see I've created that now, and I can start selecting the different things that I pin, different KPIs, different metrics that I want to pin to my dashboard. And you can start creating and telling stories here. Oops, sorry, I'm just select that dash. You can also, if you want to start amending and editing one of the existing dashboards, you can make a copy and edit it through there. If we go back to the reporting suite, you will see that this is the dashboard that I've just created with some of those KPIs. And within here, what you're able to do, again, is start editing the look and feel of this so you can get it exactly how you want. So if we come into edit, you are able to drag and drop, and you can increase or decrease the size of your tiles. You can start adding notes to it. So maybe you're an agency that wants to kind of put some description in and for your clients so that you can understand, so that they can better understand what's happened over a given period of time. We have some clients that load up videos and you can kind of talk through it that way, but you can start putting information here for your clients. There you go. This is a great dashboard. So that's the customization, and hopefully that gives you a sense of what you can do. But often people want to maybe engage with the data in a different way and want to use natural language to help narrow down and have a conversation with your data. And that really lowers, well, what we see is that really lowers the barrier to entry. So that's where our AI analyst comes in. So I guess a bit of a story that we often have with our clients is that there's always a lot of pressure on a central data function. You know, they will produce a dashboard or report, they'll feed it out to the wider business, and questions will always come back. And that more often than not will create a bottleneck. And often with agencies, there's another bottleneck whereby there's also questions coming in from their clients. So I guess I'd encourage you to have a think about, where do your questions come from within the business? You know, is it from clients? Is it from senior management? And how do you go about answering them today? Because, you know, I bet for many of us, it's a case of making a note in a meeting, going back to the agency or going back to the data team, and then a week later having the answer for the repeat of the meeting. But imagine what it'd be like if you could self-serve without the need for that data analyst. And also, what would it mean if you could free up that data analyst to work on more interesting and exciting projects? So kind of answering the questions that no one else can answer. Our view is that it would save you a load of time, but also it would help you with making better business decisions. But to get back to the demo, what you can see here is you can ask questions in natural language. So if I take what were the, until I've asked it before, what were the top five best performing channels last month? ASK BOSCO will go away and interrogate your data, and what it will come back with is the answer as it sees. So it's saying it's taking best to mean GA revenue in this instance. And if we're happy with that answer, then we can pin that to the webinar dashboard and start kind of building out exactly what we want to talk to our clients or our internal teams about. Now, if we're not able to answer the questions that we want through the AI analyst, or maybe you're a more advanced user, you can actually go into our report builder and refine exactly what it is that you want to build. So just give this a second to load up. What you can see here on the left-hand side is the metrics that you can build a report within. And you can also search and type in here. So if we want to see growth of GA revenue by date monthly. So how is my GA revenue growing month on month? We'll go away and produce this. Now, I think this is a good graph, and ASK BOSCO goes away and kind of has a look at the best visualization of it. But what we can do is we can refine it. Potentially we can look at this as a bar chart or a waterfall. So you can customize how that looks. We can go into the settings and, maybe we want to add some grid lines to this to make it more easy to understand. Maybe we don't like how it's visualized black. Let's get it in purple. So you can start fully customizing the look and feel of the graphs that you want to build. And again, you can pin that to the dashboard. The other thing that you can do here is you can have a look at the raw underlying data if that's interesting to you. So again, you can pin that there. So if I go back to our dashboard, you can see that I've started to create a dash that's telling a story and that's relevant to me, that I can share with my clients or with the wider business if I'm a brand or agency. So that's the reporting suite. Fire any questions into the text box, into the questions if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I will move into competitor benchmarking. So competitor benchmarking, competitor analysis, this is our kind of proprietary measure of where you rank in the market against your competitors. So whether you're a brand looking to understand what competitors could be doing that's impacting your online performance, or maybe you're an agency that has some concerns about client retention and you need to get a temperature check of the market to kind of put performance into context, this is where you can dip into and get that information. And what we're looking at is the overall search visibility versus your peers versus the opportunity across paid search, SEO, upper funnel marketing activities, and your core website health. And we build this index by pulling together a number of third-party data tools, so SimilarWeb, SEMrush, Google Lighthouse, to give you an idea of how you're ranking against your peers. So what you can see is that you can define and edit the competitors that you track against, and then you can track your Bosco index over time. And then if you drill into it, if we take paid search as an example, you can see how you're tracking in engagement or traffic or market share versus your peers, who's best, who's worst. So you can kind of just get that sense of what could be impacting your performance. You go to website health, you can have a look at your site speed on desktop and mobile. And again, just understand how the wider market is performing against yourself. So let's now move into the budget planning. So here is our budget planner. I think there are a number of use cases for this. Whether you're a digital marketing manager looking to kind of take a more data-led approach to planning, but maybe don't have the time or the expertise to get kind of really granular and into the numbers. Or maybe you're an agency that's managing multiple clients at scale and you're looking at how you can be more efficient in your processes. What we hear is that for everyone, budget planning and forecasting is often a time-consuming and inaccurate process. And it's often based on best practice and gut feel. It's also a process that is perfect for AI and data modeling, and it's best done when backed up with lots of data. So that's why we've built our budget planner. And with ASK Bosco, you're able to reduce the amount of time taken to draw up a budget plan and to forecast. You can increase the accuracy of that forecast and budget plan, and ultimately get confidence in the budgeting decisions that you're making, that they are aligned with your strategy that you're trying to execute on. So this is kind of the crux of us answering the question, where should I spend my next pound, dollar, euro? And a key thing here is that we're doing it in an agnostic way. So we're not just going to Google and then telling you to spend more on a PMAX campaign. So let's go into the budget planning. So if we set a naming convention, you can build that here. You then have full flexibility to customize this up to 12 months out. Let's build one for next month. You then set your overarching strategy. So in this instance, I think maximizing revenue feels like a sensible target for us to have. You then set the channels that you want to be included within the budget planning mix. So it may be that, okay, actually we don't want to include our display network. And you can set constraints at a channel level. So Meta, that's often top of funnel. Let's target that on impressions rather than on conversions. You can include and exclude brand campaigns, and you can also exclude specific campaigns from the budget planning mix. So it may be that you have a new range of products that you just want to throw budget behind, kind of irrelevant of what the data said. So you can exclude that from the mix and manually put your budget behind that. You then get given a recommended budget, and we give you a range of what we think you could spend based on kind of diminishing returns and opportunity within the market. And ASK Bosco goes away, and within about 30 seconds, I kind of nervously click the timer now, you'll get a budget plan that shows you exactly where you should be spending and investing your budgets. So we'll just let that run for a few more seconds. Cool. So here is the output. And what you can see here is that this is the strategy that we're looking to execute. And here you get a high-level pill of what the split should be across your digital marketing channels. Now, as we go down and look at kind of a more granular level, what this is telling us is essentially it's telling us how to be most efficient with our money. So with our budget. So what we're saying is you need to pull back on Pinterest, and the effect of that will be you lose about £2,000 there. Likewise with Google Shopping, but if you redistribute that into Meta and you redistribute that into Performance Max, the net impact of all of these changes, by being more efficient and smarter about how we spend our money, you will have an extra £3,300 of revenue next month. So you can then take this and you can either download your budget plan and work through that manually. And we will tell you on a campaign by campaign basis exactly where you should be spending. And that's within the UI here. So if you have a look, we go within Performance Max. We are telling you that the optimized campaigns, these are the campaigns that you need to next month apply this cost to. And these are the changing cost, and this is the metric change to the revenue change that will drive. You can also track performance. So you can see here that we've got last year's performance versus our forecasted performance in purple. And then you can also change those metrics up here. And then if you want to go a little bit more granular, you can get a view again of optimized and non-optimized. So optimized being the ones that we recommend you change. At a campaign level across costs, impressions, clicks, conversions, revenue, as well as KPI, which in this instance we've selected as ROAS. So you can have a more granular view. And then what you can also do is break that down so you can see those budget recommendations on a weekly or daily basis. so that you can kind of really accurately schedule your budgeting and understand the impact of that and kind of the performance over time. So the final thing to say on budget planning is that you can compare and contrast multiple budget plans. So as you can see here, we have two budget plans side by side. So slightly inconveniently, I've done pretty similar plans, but if you were to run different strategies or have different budgets, or you wanted to run different scenarios, you can really easily do that here and kind of have sensible conversations with your team about the impact of different budgetary decisions that you make. So yeah, that is Ask Bosco. I welcome any questions. Let me just go and have a look. Questions. Okay, great. So can Ask Bosco be customized for specific business goals or KPIs? So yeah, absolutely. So Ask Bosco works both for e-commerce clients and also for lead gen clients. So with e-commerce, I think you've seen there all the various KPIs that we can optimize towards. We go back into the so I'm not showing screen, but if you go into the budget planner, you can see there's ROAS targets, revenue targets, profitability targets. You can set whatever you need there. And then with lead gen, yes, we can optimize towards different lead gen events. So as long as we set the conversion event that you want to track and optimize towards, we can absolutely do that. Look at other questions. So what are best practices for getting the most out of the platform's budget planning tools? So there's probably a couple of points to kind of raise here. I think when you're building a budget plan, what we'd recommend is that you kind of iterate on it. So build a 12-month plan and then build a plan for the quarter ahead, and then build one for the month ahead, and then look at and revise it and review it on a weekly basis. And I think because you can see how quick and easy it is to build a budget plan, then that isn't kind of a time-consuming or strenuous process to kind of iterate and keep learning on those plans. The other thing I think we would say is best practice is to keep a human in the loop. So Ask Bosco is very much looking at purely the data around your performance when making those budget planning recommendations. And often, whether you're an account manager at an agency or you're a digital marketing manager at a brand, you know the nuance of your business and your account. So you should keep a human in the loop just to kind of sanity check some of those decisions and make sure they're right for your business. And then final thing I'd say on best practice is just make sure you're running different scenarios. So really use the platform to run and test different scenarios at different times to make sure that you're kind of taking advantage of the opportunities that are in the market, whether it's playing with your profitability levels or budget levels to make sure you're capturing all the demand that's out there. So yeah, that's a slightly long answer to best practice. How easy it to connect and onboard data into Ask Bosco? Can you give us timeframes? So yeah, really easy to connect Ask Bosco. You have a simple onboarding form that we would send you, whereby you put in your ad details. Then Ask Bosco comes back and it knocks on the door and requests for read-only access. We would then say as soon as we've got accesses, it takes typically at least 72 hours for us to pull all of that data through to Ask Bosco, tidy it, make sure that all the tracking is right, make sure that we can create all the dashboards for you, and then after that we'll be able to create logins. So that's what a typical onboarding path looks like. Obviously it varies. Recently we've onboarded a client with an agency client with over 300 clients. So that gives you an idea of kind of the scale that we're able to deal with when looking to onboard. So it is a very quick and easy process. Cool. Any other questions? No, doesn't look like it. So hopefully that's been an enjoyable run through. I will follow up. We'll follow up by email and make sure you've got my details. So please do reach out if you're interested to learn more. And thanks again. Cheers. Bye.